going on, guys? Just wanted to make a little video on this new weapon that has come out with the release of the Maggot King. The weapon here called the Crimson Kisten. A very, very powerful weapon that is mainly used for its special attack. That is the main purpose of the weapon. The special attack is incredibly powerful, which we will get into in a little bit. I'll demonstrate it in a little bit here at SERP, because it's very good against SERP. According to my calculations that I put it in the DPS calculator, this is the best in slot weapon here at SERP. It is the strongest weapon. It's gonna have the most DPS, and it is surpassed by the Burning Claws in spec only DPS, but that's because you need to use free special attacks with the Burning Claws. Like the Burning Claws, the DPS of the Burning Claws is going to be lower. It's going to be significantly lower on its own. Just one special attack heads up versus the one special attack of the Crimson Kisten. But the way the Crimson Kisten works is that it does, when you special attack with it, it does 4 accuracy rolls, and with each pass you deal more damage. So, for example, if you pass 1 accuracy check with the special attack, you will deal between 70% and 110% damage of your max hit. If you pass 2 accuracy checks, you will deal between 90% and 130% of your max hit, 110% to 150% of the free accuracy passes, and if you pass all 4, you will deal between 130% up to 170% of your max hit. So, at the lowest range of the 1 pass, you will only hit 70% of your max hit, and then all the way up to 170% of your max hit if you pass all 4 accuracy checks. But since this is incredibly accurate, we can expect much higher than the floor, which is 70% of the max hit at only 1 pass. Like, this is incredibly accurate, and it's not as punishing as a pair of Dragon Claws is. So this is extremely useful in a situation like Cerberus here, for example, because let's say you get DPS checked at SERP, like your Scythe is not hitting or whatever else weapon you're using. You won't get to skip the ghost phase, but here, if your Scythe fails you a bit, you can then put on the Crimson Kisten spec twice, and then get the coup de grace, secure the kill, the finishing blow off with this weapon. So incredibly powerful is what this weapon is, which we will demonstrate in a little bit. And that's basically the upside to it, because Dragon Claws, they will let you down more. If you fail accuracy, they will punish you harder than this pair of Crimson Kisten. Like, you can sometimes, even though Dragon Claws are a very accurate pair of claws, accurate spec weapon, it can let you down sometimes. But the Crimson Kisten does not let you down at all. Incredibly reliable weapon, and that's the upside to this weapon. If you want the finishing blow, if you want that guaranteed damage, this will not let you down. But it sort of follows the theme of most spec weapons these days. Like, if you compare to the old spec weapons of the past, like you had the Dragon Dagger, unreliable, Granite Maul, unreliable, Darkbow, inaccurate, but has a minimum hit on special attack. Armadillo Guard Sword, incredibly volatile, will hit a lot of zeros, but can also pop off and crack a 70. But with the new weapons, new wave of modern weapons, Dragon Claws, Burning Claws, Voidwaker, like, you have so much accuracy, and Crimson Kisten just gives you more of that. It's basically like just a crush version of the Voidwaker, you can say. Incredibly powerful. This thing doesn't hit low, and that's really good in situations like these where you want to skip. Let's say it had low HP that it has now. I could then spec twice with the Crimson Kisten, and I would skip the phase, and wouldn't have to deal with the ghosts. In this case, it didn't have low enough HP for me to be able to finish it off, but that's usually the case, that depending on how I played the Cerberus kill. Like, I'm not playing Cerberus probably right now because I'm just talking, I'm just yapping and scabbing. But in a little bit we will get around to demonstrating the Crimson Kisten special attack. And you will see that this thing does not miss. It doesn't miss. It doesn't know what missing is. It's so incredibly powerful. Damn. This thing just hits, it just cracks. It's so insane. It's so insane. But that's the thing. It's not always good to just sit in a spreadsheet, just sit in a calculator all day, thinking about what's best. Like, people should try weapons out for themselves in the flesh, see how they feel. Because when Crimson Kisten was released, I tried it, right, versus Cerberus. I've also tried all the other special attack weapons, of course. The Wikipedia told me that Crimson Kisten wasn't best in slot, but then as I tried the weapons for myself, it's so glaringly obvious to me that this weapon is the strongest weapon. Just because of the guaranteed damage, you can't quantify everything that relates to DPS in a spreadsheet. There's so many other variables, so many intangibles that also should be taken into account. I'll give another example of this. It's a lot of talking so far without special attacking with it. I know, it's crazy. I'll give you another example of this. For example, No Monkey, he made a video one time where he was talking about Inferno, and he was talking about how incredibly powerful the Atlatl was, according to the DPS calculations that he ran. But I think it's terrible advice. Like, the implication of that is pretty terrible to give out, because it doesn't take into account the things that you can't see in a calculator. Because the range of an Atlatl isn't the same as a Bofa is, right? So for noobs, for example, that means you will get dragged out of the shield. You won't be in range to attack Sock. You will get dragged past the shield, for example. And that's really bad. That might get you killed. So I wouldn't prescribe the use of Atlatl for newbies just because a DPS calculator tells you that it's good. And that's sort of the problem that many have. You can't see anything. You can't see everything in a calculator. Sometimes you have to feel it in the flesh to really get a good impression of what it's like. Test for yourself, see what it's like. And in the case of Cerberus here, for example, the upside is really the fact that you can possibly get the ghost skip. Like, in sometimes you will be able to get the finishing blows off. Not this, because now it's 30% HP. This is not sufficient to put him in a blunt. But in other situations, you would be Cerberus would be low enough for you to be able to finish off the kill, get the coup de grâce, and that's really the power of the Crimson Kisten, because this thing doesn't know how to hit low. It doesn't hit low. It doesn't know what hitting low is, and that's the upside. Like I've said 200 times now, with the pair of Dragon Claws, even though they are accurate, they might let you down, and they will punish you harder if you fail accuracy check. The Crimson Kisten does not know how to punish you. You cannot hit low with this weapon. It is so incredibly, incredibly powerful. And I don't think we can drag this out much longer, can we, guys? I think we're just gonna have to jump right into the action, reaction, and see in the flesh what this weapon is about, that I've been yapping about for so long. So we're gonna spec now. The first is a 77. The second hit is a 69er. Beautiful numbers. And that's because this weapon does not know how to hit low. How low can you go? This thing doesn't know. Oh shit. Oh shit, man, we almost got banged. Damn, son. Yeah, I was so excited about the weapon that we almost got ourselves killed. We were put in a very precarious position. I have some older counts here that are healing me and giving me some special attack, just so I can demonstrate this weapon. Just how incredibly good it is. Like, you've seen from a few special attacks now, this thing can't hit low. We're gonna try and hit again. We're gonna have a 68. We're gonna have a 51. That is in the lower end, to be honest, the 51. But you're not getting any Garbanzo beans. Just very reliable. Can always count on this one. Let's spec again. Let's see what we get here. Get a 72, and now we have the ghost coming up, 73. Can almost get the ghost skip here. And we get it there. Finishing blow with the scythe this time. But it's just to demonstrate, to illustrate that the new Crimson Kisten is incredibly powerful. According to DPS calculation, it is the best in slot weapon, according to my calcs at least. But the main point I want to make is that Even if it wasn't the best in slot weapon according to calculations, according to what a spreadsheet and number says, it is still going to be powerful because it doesn't tell you about its ability to get the finishing blow. It doesn't tell you about the flaw, and flaw is important when it comes to, for example, finishing off a monster before it gets to a phase, before it transitions into a new phase, for example, like it is the case with Cerberus, for example. So there are many factors, there are many variables that go into it, and the Crimson Kisten is a very, very good weapon. Also a good looking weapon. Haven't really talked about that. So yeah. Good looking weapon. Almost looks like the Varrock's Flail. It almost looks like the Varrock's Flail, as we can see here. Pretty cool looking weapon. I wish we had more weapons similar to this one in appearance. It's really cool. Like, get this ball here with the spikes. I like the flail a little bit more that hangs by your side, but it's a cool looking weapon. I think we should have more weapons in this style of appearance. Really cool. But yeah, the main takeaway here is just that you can't always use calculators as a reliable source in determining whether something is good or something is bad. Sometimes you need to try it for yourself. It's not always about how you quantify stuff, it's also about how you qualify stuff. Does it tell you about the ability to skip a phase? Does it tell you about the flaw of the weapon? Does it tell you about how reliable the weapon is? And calculations will sometimes miss these things, and that's why it's good to try for yourself. And so, for example, like I told you before, the Wikipedia page that this said that Burning Claws and Dragon Claws are better than Crimson Kisten here. I tried all the weapons for myself, and I tried the Crimson Kisten here, and immediately I noticed right away that Crimson Kisten was a stronger weapon. And so when I ran the calculations as well, it also told me that Crimson Kisten was stronger. But even if it hadn't told me that, I would still have the impression that Crimson Kisten is a stronger weapon. Because not everything is about calculations, and that's just the main takeaway here. And yeah, we have yapped enough about the weapon. Have a lovely day, guys. Really must have a lovely day. Bye bye.